Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Leo and I will be your host today. And we are on a classic search today. One of our signature searches. We're looking for someone in particular. I'm up here. I'm actually in Burnwell, Kentucky in Pike County at it's Thompson Moore Cemetery, but you know how it is. Different people will call it different names. The Smith will bury someone in here and they'll call it the Smith Cemetery. And there's a lot of McCoys here, as a matter of fact. Johnsy and Rosanna, their baby, Sally, she's right over there on that hill over there. Aunt Betty's house is just on the other side of that hill over there. And Aunt Betty and Uriah herself, they're buried on the very next hill. So, I can see there are McCoys here. So, there's no telling who we'll run into. But the person that I'm looking for today is named Quincey Roberts Patterson. And she was born on April 12th in 1896 in Mingo County, West Virginia. She was the daughter of James P. Roberts and Arizona Maynard Roberts. And remember that name, it'll come into play in a second. Some documents name her Arizona McCoy, while others list Arizona Maynard Roberts, likely due to a differing record formats or family name changes. We haven't resolved 100% which is correct yet, but we suspect she's the daughter of Arizona McCoy, which would make her a direct descendant of Aunt Betty from the Hatfield-McCoy feud. Now, life here in the hills wasn't easy, and never was, never has been, still isn't. But folks were strong back in the day, and families did their best to take care of each other. As a young woman, Quincy married a man named Clint Patterson, a local man from the area, in 1916, just a year before her death. They didn't have any children, and their time together would be very brief, unfortunately. Quincy began suffering from tuberculosis, a common and deadly disease back then, especially in the mountain communities where the nearest doctor could be a long ways away. With her body weakening slowly over time, her family did all they could to ease her pain, but there were no real cures back then, and most people just tried to keep their loved ones comfortable for as long as they could. Tuberculosis, or TB, is caused by a bacteria that usually attacks the lungs. Over time, it destroys lung tissue and makes it hard to breathe, causes coughing, fever, and weakness. In severe cases, like Quincy's, the lungs can no longer take in enough oxygen. People often waste away slowly, which is why they called it the consumption. What's strange about it is that not everyone who gets exposed to TB gets sick. Some people carry the bacteria without symptoms for years, while others, like Quincy, become very ill and eventually lose the biggest battle of their lives. Over the centuries, tuberculosis has killed over 1 billion people worldwide, making it one of the deadliest diseases in human history. On July 13th, in 1917, Quincy passed away in Pike County, Kentucky. She was only 21 years old. Her death left behind a young husband, grieving parents, and a family who never forgot her strength and kindness, even through her suffering. She was laid here to rest at what was known then as the Yates Cemetery, but there is no photo of her headstone to remember her online, which is how things are often preserved and honored today. This is why I'm here at this cemetery, which was not easy to locate. It had no GPS location and was listed as Patterson Cemetery. We eventually found it under the name of Yates, as perseverance does pay off. We don't like to take no for an answer when something like that comes along. So today, we're going to see if we can find her grave and put her back on the map, technically. Even though it was over 100 years ago, she mattered to everyone who knew her, and she matters to us as well. And quite frankly, if you're watching this video, she probably mattered to you too. It's an interesting story, a very tragic story, a very young life taken by a deadly disease that even to this day still ravages part of the world. It can be treated pretty easily with common medications, but back then there was no medications. You just, like I said, it was called the consumption because it consumed you slowly. It ate you. You withered away and wasted. So today we're going to see if we can't find Quincy, tell her story, and bring her memory back to light just for a minute. Because, you know, as we've said before, and we'll probably say again in the future, that there's an old saying that to truly be dead is to be forgotten. And, you know, when you say someone's name, they're no longer forgotten. And when we document them on our channel, they're now documented. They're not forgotten, and they'll be remembered beyond our time as well. And descendants, you know, family members, in theory, assuming we can find Quincy, will be able to follow our little breadcrumbs and find her for themselves. Okay, let's start the search. See you guys here in a minute. Well, guys, unfortunately, Quincy's grave, the exact location, could not be located. I am standing right now in the Patterson plot right now with several of her family members. And you can see several graves there. There are several Pattersons. There are, unfortunately, quite a few field stones here as well, and several unmarked even. You can tell from the ground where it's raised, like right there. There's definitely a grave there, but there's no field stones or marker of any kind. So, unfortunately, that means we are within 20 yards of Quincy's grave, presumably walking right by it at any given moment. But we can't, unfortunately, identify exactly which one it is, which in a way makes her story and this video just a little bit more important, because if there is no marker, then this video kind of becomes it. And the obituary that we found, you know, we found the obituary in the newspaper article and, you know, several corroborating sources. So she is definitely here within a few feet, within a few yards. She is definitely here. So, like I said, I guess in a way that makes her story just a little bit more important, because she doesn't have a marker to remember. All she has is the story and the online listing and the obituary. There's no marker. So that stuff is all that's left of Quincy. Like I said, in a way you feel bad because you didn't find the grave. You feel like you let your viewers down. You didn't find the grave, but you told the story and you remembered Quincy. You told her story and you brought her name back. You brought her story back just for a minute. You can't bring her back, but you can bring her memory back just for a few minutes. And I suppose we've done that. Anyway, guys, keep her in your prayers and all this stuff, and all the other people that are sick and afflicted worldwide. But we appreciate y'all coming along and hearing her story. Appreciate y'all very much, and y'all have a really good day. And we will see you next time on the Hillbilly Files. Leo out.